We are back on SportsCenter, and the Fever are headed back to the playoffs. It's been a couple of rough years, but the addition of course, Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston, it's all worked out. Nafisa Collier also playing great. Clark pulling up for the deep three. She's coming off a triple-double. As I mentioned, Indiana's back in the playoffs, but she said, we're not happy to be there. We can do some damage, as did Clark. 17 in the first half, Fever by 5 at the break. Rebecca Lobo is going to be here in a second to talk about both Collier and Clark. And Clark getting some MVP consideration. Bucci's going to have the erstwhile MVP coming up here in a second. We talked about how great Collier is. Possible first-round playoff matchup. We'll have to see. Indiana's vacillating between that 6 and 7 spot. Collier at 23 through 3. A big quarter to 3 for Minnesota. They're up a dozen after 3 in the fourth. Clark catch and shoot. It's a 3-point game, getting the crowd fired up. A couple minutes later, Kelsey Mitchell. There's a couple of good Kelseys in this league for sure. Fever cut it to 1. Tyrese Halliburton in the house. Hey, got a pacer watching the Fever. This place can be lit up. Bridget Carlton puts the Lynx back up 4. Courtney Williams, you bet, dagger. Double-digit road win despite Clark's 25.
Sun and Aces. Asia Wilson, the likely MVP. Late in the first quarter, Sun lead by 5. Marina Mabry doesn't start, but she did play 29 minutes. She led the Sun in field goal attempts, 15, 6 of 15. She was 5 of 10 from 2, where that one was. Sun by 7. Carrington puts them up by 9. Later in the quarter, it would go to 14. Aisha Harris. They were just 3 of 16 shooting threes. So that was a rare make from the Sun. That enabled the Aces to peck away at the lead. Kelsey Plum had an outstanding game. Played 34 minutes in this one. Wilson down low with the right hand. I'd give my left arm to be ambidextrous. She had 20 points and 8 rebounds. So now the Aces suddenly, at one point, down by 14, lead by 1. We mentioned Plum's game. 8 of 15 from the floor, 3 of 8 from 3. 27 points for Plum. Wilson looked so good from that range. So silky smooth every time. And this was the dagger. Squish. Chelsea Gray rocking the suburbs just like the Greg Kinn band did. And the Aces, great comeback. They win by 5. She's listed as 6'4". I'm listed as 6'4". We both claim to be taller. Someday America will find out. It's Rebecca Lobo. Great to see you, Rebecca. Let's talk about the Aces. Man, what a gutty, gritty kind of win for them. Really a great watch at the end of the game against the Sun. You know, they're stuck in the 4 seed, the highest scoring team in the league. What about the Aces as they go for their three-peat entering the playoffs? Where do you see them?
Yeah, it was a great watch at the end of the game. It was a little bit of a struggle throughout the first 3 quarters in particular. I mean, this is a Vegas team that has won 4 in a row, 5 of 6, and they're really coming together in particular on the defensive end of the floor. In the first half tonight, they had a season-low 26 points, but their defense kept them in it. They forced Connecticut into 19 turnovers, and then to me, their championship experience really shone through in the last minute. Asia Wilson with a huge bucket from the free throw line area. Chelsea Gray with a huge 3 as well. So this is a team that is simply dangerous. They're finding some rhythm. They're putting it together on the defensive end. And then when they get everything rolling offensively, certainly a team, even though they're not in the top couple in the standings, certainly a team that can win a championship again.
Yeah, the 4 seed right now in the W, and about 5 or 6 games left in the regular season, depending on what team you are. And right now, that 2-7 matchup, Minnesota and Indiana, that's a possibility. Again, there's a chance that could change. But what about that first round matchup? How would that look, and what's your sense about that one?
These are 2 teams that are simply really fun to watch play. They share the ball really well. Minnesota's leading the league in assists per game. Indiana is 5th. They shoot the basketball really well. Minnesota leading the league in 3-point field goal percentage. Indiana is 3rd. And then you have a couple of players who should each be first-team all-WNBA performers. Nafisa Collier for the Minnesota Lynx is just having a monster year. Tonight she had 26 points, 10 rebounds. I would expect her to finish 2nd in the MVP voting voting. And then, of course, Caitlin Clark, one of the most exciting players to watch in all of women's basketball, including in the WNBA this season. She was close to another triple-double tonight. I would expect her to finish even third or fourth in the MVP voting this year. So just two teams share the ball, score the ball, play at a high pace. They're just really aesthetically pleasing to watch. This would be an incredibly fun matchup to watch if it ends up being that in the first round.
Yeah, Minnesota, much better defensive team. Of all the teams qualify for the playoffs, Indiana has given up the most points per game. All right, get your tape measurement out. Someday we will find out who is taller, Rebecca or Bucci.